Hello, race fans. Welcome here tonight to the Adrenaline iRacing Cup Series here, brought to you by Freaky Fast Broadcasting at the Kansas Speedway. We got 160 laps here for race number 7. It's been a fantastic season so far here at the Adrenaline iRacing Cup Series, and we will have another fantastic race here tonight at the Kansas Speedway. And I gotta say, it's gonna be fun here with the updated surface, see how that plays out for these drivers out here, figuring that out as they're just ending qualifying here now, but we need to give a shout out to our sponsor here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting of ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10 powered race car, from ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air like a traditional speaker, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful bass response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go to buttkicker.com and check out the ButtKicker Gamer 2, and you can use FreakyFast20 to get 20% off there of any purchase at buttkicker.com. But welcome everybody here to Freaky Fast Broadcast. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth here tonight, and we got a special guest up here now tonight with us. Here is Sam Dyer and Robert Moyer Jr. in the producer's box. But Sam, welcome to the booth, man. Here tonight, we got a special race here at Kansas.
Yeah, I'm excited to be up in the booth. Lee was not able to come here tonight, but luckily I was able to come in, and here is your grid here at Kansas for the Adrenaline Cup Series. Braxton DeWeese able to get the pole here in that 15 machine, and then you got yourself Jacob Grant. You also got Altice, Javier Gomera, otherwise known what Lee would say, Gilberto Javier Gomera. Can't do it as well as him. Then you got Sam Bourne, Bronson Stafford. Then you got Tyler Stooksberry, and then you've also got yourself Tanner Johnson, Jump, Sherwood, Hardison, and then Shane Terrian. three-time winner so far. He's trying to make it 4 in a row, but he's going to be starting a little bit deeper in the pack. Then you got Robert Kenny, Breaky, Massey, Stamp, and then you also drop even further down into 17th. Alex Walter, Gray, Smith, Jones, Matthew Dyer. Also got yourself John Wilson's going to be there. Coleman, Jordan, Packard, and Huff going to be starting all the way in the back, not putting down times for those final four. Zach, it's exciting here at Kansas. 160 laps, a lot of racing for these drivers to deal with. But with this new, update that iRacing has put in, tires seem to be the issue, and also it seems like some of the drivers seems like it's difficult to make passes.
Yeah, so we've seen multiple drivers complain about that last week, actually at Pocono, and then with this new update we've got here now at Kansas, it seems like some lines are going to be a little bit more dominant than other. We're used to that top line being the dominant line. We'll have to see if that ever comes in. But at this point, from what I've seen so far, the bottom is looking pretty good.
Yeah, the bottom's looking good, and it's been interesting how the track has been evolving a lot more with the new update that came out. But here for these drivers, it's a lot of focus on where you want to put yourself, as it looks like the 88 on screen wants to already get out, waiting and getting ahead of the pace car. Got to cool your jets as everyone else finally gets rolling. Drivers that are up front, I mean, we got ourselves Braxton DeWeese, also Jacob Grant, both trying to get their first wins of the season. It's kind of been dominated by the luminary guys. Matthew Dyer, the only driver that has swept or has gotten a win, but that was the first race of the season at the wild card of Daytona. So a lot of things could change here today at Kansas.
It definitely could. And DeWeese entering with the points lead, too, also in that 15. I mean, he hasn't got a win yet, but the thing also I noticed tonight has changed is he's qualified better. He's been coming from the back to the front. Tonight he starts up front. I think it could be this 15's chance for a big win.
Yeah, and it just seems like DeWeese is poised to get a win at some point. Jacob Grant, also one of those drivers that has looked extremely quick at times. But you got to wonder, when are we going to be seeing both Tom Bourne, he's been quick at these mile and a halves, as well as Shane Tarian, who won back at Charlotte, our last mile and a half course. So you got to wonder how these drivers are going to be evolving here tonight. 160 laps here. Zach, it's exciting for everyone. They're racked up, ready to go green. Green flag out in the air, and there they go, getting taken off. It's going to be Braxton DeWeese, Jacob Grant side by side as they come across the line. They're going to be roaring and trying, like you said, Zach, trying to get to the inside lane. That's where you want to be early on. These first couple of laps, got to let those tires heat up and get going. Javier's going to be getting stuck on the high side. It looks like he went a little bit higher than what most people are. Got to be careful, but DeWeese gets the better launch out of the corner and already ahead. As here comes Altis on the inside. Power move getting up to speed and now up to the front.
He needs a big race here tonight, entering out of that playoff position on the outside, looking in that 13th position in points. And here he goes, 3 wide on the first straightaway.
Tom Bourne going to be all the way on the bottom. It's going to be Braxton DeWeese trying to follow suit, but Bourne already to the point. What a move for himself. Went from 5th up to the lead in 1 lap, showing that there is strength once you get going. For Braxton DeWeese, that is a telling sign that maybe you don't want to be the leader if we have a late green white checkered. But man, Tom Bourne, what a move for that 54.
Yeah, we talked about passing being hard, but I think if you're going to get passing done, and if it's going to be hard, you want to get it done early here in the early stage of these tires, but not burn them up. So got to be careful here. But Tom Bourne's strong at Charlotte. He's up front now again.
It looks like Ryan Huff did not get to the grid in time, as he'll be on the apron, getting on pit road currently for the 73 machine. And that is not the way you want to be starting out your race, as now everyone's single filing out. As you see there, a little bit of side-by-side driving by these drivers, as that's Caleb Smith and Robert Kenny side-by-side on screen, as these two battling and trying to make their moves forward as they're in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, back here in this 13th spot is that 12 Caleb Smith. You see him trying to work the bottom, but Robert Kenny doing a good job in that 34. Working outside, you see the same with Spencer Harrison. Oh, wow. Caleb Smith onto that apron there. Big moment.
Got loose out of 2. You don't want to be loose in that spot, especially when you're surrounded by other drivers. Robert Sherwood able to make the pass, going to be on the outside. And now you're going to be seeing the 4. That's going to be Keenan Massey able to make the pass as the 12 continues to drop back. That is not, I mean, you got to be careful early on if you're already feeling loose. I mean, those tires, are they just not heated up yet?
Yeah, that's a possibility. You know, we see that a lot with the V7 tire model here on iRacing, is that cold tire effect where you just take off and you're usually a little bit free. And it takes a few laps. I would imagine by now in lap 5 it should be in, but it looked like there was mostly a case of catching that white line and getting a little bit unbalanced on that car, hitting that apron with that left front tire.
And you can see in front, that's going to be Robert Sherwood going to be trying to make some passes for himself. Alex Walter dropping back just a little bit. Drivers up front, though, that are battling to try to get into 5th place. It's going to be Trenton Jump, who's been second so many times in the 46 machine. He's got Stooksbury to his rear bumper as these two trying to make a move forward, as now it's going to be Joseph Altis that's going to be under fire and now dropping back to 5th.
Yeah, you see Trenton Jump trying to make his way up in the 46 machine. I see Tanner Johnson there making a nice pass into 23. But yeah, I mean, you got Stooksbury here battling there, but Shane Theory and also in the 38, 12th to 7th so far. He's looking to come on through and get that 4th win in a row.
Tarian's got to be careful. He was thinking about maybe going 3 wide. We'll see what type of momentum he get out of the corner. He's staying close to the apron. He's not able to really get that momentum. It's just a little bit too low. Still is boxed in, watching Stooksbury and Altis staying side by side, and then as well in front of them, pass for these guys battling for 3rd place. They're 3 wide right now. Gonna be trying to figure out who's gonna be in 2nd. It's gonna be Braxton DeWeese all the way on the high line, and then you've also got Jacob Grant as well as Jump able to make the move on the inside to the lead, to 2nd place, excuse me, trying to run down our leader of Tom Bourne. Tom Bourne up to a half a second lead and loving this battling behind him.
Yeah, Trenton's jumping up the leaderboard from 9th to 2nd. Here comes DeWeese back to the bottom. This race is great so far as Tom Bourne trying to get away.
And man, Shane Tarian, he's just cutting, slicing, and dicing. He's figured out how to get to the high line, and now he's trying to make his moves there. A little bit of frustration, it sounds like, for the drivers that are back in about 18th place, as there's been a lot of issues back then early in these races all season long, where drivers just running into one another, and seems like that is another issue that's happened so far. Still side-by-side racing for the 3rd place position as Trenton Jump still being challenged here by Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, we're seeing multiple lines be used here early in this run. That's a good sign here for this race. We'll see if the one, as the run continues on, becomes that dominant line like we've seen before, but no signs of that yet here. Great side-by-side racing, making passing hard, though, with both all lines working.
Yeah, and you saw there on screen Caleb Smith as well as Alex Walter and Robert Sherwood. They were all 3 wide for a 2nd there. These are drivers still around 13th, 14th, and 15th position, just duking it out and not really giving an inch to anyone. As Sherwood going to be high up, close to the wall. Got to be careful not to get up in there. He had to really back out so he didn't clobber the wall.
Yeah, it's easy to get into that thing, man. You get into it and you can't get out either. So definitely a great job by Sherwood staying out of it. But you got to trust that outside wall. And if you give too much trust, you end up in it.
Do you want to give an update? It looks like Johnny Jones was caught with a black flag early on in this race. Had to come down into pit road. Currently 4 laps down. Not the day that the 18 wants to have early on.
Bad way to start out your day there. Definitely don't want to get a penalty, man. But he could fight back here. Got 160 laps. Long races. Smoke on the front straightaway here. Something happened.
Trying to figure out who exactly that was. I believe that might have been Evan Coleman that went completely off course. I'm going back to see who that was, but someone just went completely. Oh, that was Johnny Jones, actually. Yeah. Got loose with those fresh tires. And that's going to be another black flag unless it gets cleared, and it looks like it did. That is not, man. Johnny Jones needing a better day. This is going terrible in the first about 15 laps.
Definitely not working out for him as he entered here tonight 21st in points. So, with only 6 races left before these playoff starts, he's definitely needed something to turn around here, as the first half of the season not been to his liking so far in that for Johnny Jones there. As we look at Austin Jordan here now, he's 16th here coming into points tonight, only 23 out of the playoffs. So he needs a good final 6 races here if he wants to charge it to this playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, currently running in 21st position. Not a bad day for the 28. But it seems like early on, Austin Jordan doesn't have the best runs for himself. And then once pit stops start to happen, that's when he starts to make the surge. But currently, right now, 8 seconds back from our leader and 2.2 seconds back from Matt Dyer in front of him for 20th position. It's going to take a long time. Might have to short pit if he wants a shot to try to redeem himself and get back into this race. But you're seeing side-by-side action. It's Stooksbury and Bronson Stafford as they're side-by-side. Stafford gets a little bit loose there. Gomera is going to be coming on the high side as well for the 94. As these drivers, I mean, we talked about, Zach, you threw out the inside lane is where you want to be, but it seems like as the longer the run goes on, the higher they start to go up.
Yes, it is prevailing, but we got a wreck there off of turn 2. I think it's going to. Oh no, there it is. Finally, the
There
caution
you go.
comes out.
Caleb
Ooh,
Smith, heavy front end damage for himself. And oh boy.
multiple cars
Oh,
involved.
Alex Walter also involved. As Dyer has heavy front end damage after hitting the inside wall. It looks like it all
Unfortunately,
started around the 63. As here is your freaky fast broadcasting replay. Smoke in front of him, but the 88 just has nowhere to go. He's going to be stuck on the high side coming up, and the smoke now is so blinding to see. You really have nowhere to go. Contact. There's Alex Walter as well as Caleb Smith making their contact in the outside wall coming out of 2. Dyer's going to go extremely low, and it looks like that might have been the 3 of
oh,
Sherwood that came down a little bit lower for no. Oh no,
oh
that
no,
is just
no,
unawareness. That is
yeah,
Clayton just not aware where you're going to go, and that is terrible both for Caleb Smith and Dyer, both of them part of CEM Motorsports. And with no fast repairs, their day could be done already.
and that is not good for the Dyer there. I mean, coming in with the win at Daytona, but only about 20 points above that 20th place position in points. He's going to need some good races to make sure he stays in with that, winning you're in playoff eligibility.
Yeah, and now everyone into the pits. Yeah, Dyer's really going to focus on having good runs. This is like the 3rd race in a row where he's been caught up in some type of a wreck that has been costing just not a lot of great moments for himself. Looking at some of the drivers that didn't come into pit road, Tanner Johnson staying out, as well as Caleb Smith. First of the drivers that came in pit road and got service done. Tom Bourne beating out the rest of the field of Braxton DeWeese, Trenton Jump, and Jacob Grant. And those are the drivers in 6th place.
Yeah, the question is, will Johnson hit pit road this time? Is he just trying to get himself a bonus point by leading a lap, or is this a strategy call? I mean, 17 laps into a 160 lap race, it is kind of early to be using, 5 sets in the pits here tonight with 6 total starting this race. So, some guys are down to 4 now with still a long time to go in this race.
Yeah, we're not even to lap 20, and usually these guys aren't they looking for around lap 40-ish is where they're
Yeah,
aiming for most of these pit stops. So, I mean, they're both staying out. This is shocking for Caleb Smith, especially because he's got no front bumper.
yeah,
I mean, he's got heavy damage front end wise, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be down on power. And if he's staying up front, that lane that he's going to be in is going to be really woed up unless he can find himself into pit road.
yeah. I mean, I could see not changing tires, but maybe coming to getting some damage repair, maybe if he hit pit road. But yeah, mate. I mean, no front end. We'll have to see how the 12 is. I tell you, I've seen sometimes where no front end on iRacing sometimes performs perfectly well for some reason, because I guess the nose is still there for him. But man, we'll have to see. And that's kind of a risky call, though. I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, usually when you see no front bumper, it's when you're at short tracks when you're able to continue and start looking like a modified where it works out. And I mean, you're at a mile and a half. Aerodynamics is important in some fashion.
It's king.
Now,
Yeah.
man, I
I
mean,
kind of like Tanner Johnson's call. I mean, he's gonna get swallowed up here, man. But at the end of the day, if he can save a few sets of tires, we get a few cautions here throughout this race. It could play into his hands.
extra set of tires is so important. And early caution here on lap 12 for these drivers. And now it's the question of what are these drivers going to be reacting if we somehow get into a longer run? I mean, for Tanner Johnson, now he's going to be in that short undercut type of pits strategy where he's going to be pitting so much earlier than everyone else. Caleb Smith, now he's going to have a question. He never came into pit road, so he actually has no idea what the looking like of damage is for himself. Ooh, I like this strategy call. 23 going to the high side, putting the 12, the damage. Caleb Smith going to be trying to stall out Tom Bourne, who's going to be in 3rd place.
Yeah, it's a good strategic call there. A little bit of a chess move here on the restarts to put himself up on that high lane and put that slower 12 down there with that front nose damage. Like you said, Caleb might not really know it's that bad. I mean, it's kind of hard to your nose, when you're driving the thing. So he could possibly think he's still got a nose on. I'm sure maybe someone's let him know, but man, we'll have to see if that thing can get up and go.
Well, It's going to be Caleb Smith as well as Tanner Johnson, Braxton DeWeese, Tom Bourne, and Jacob Grant, your top 5. Trenton Jump, Joshua Altice, Shane Tarian, Robert Kenny, and Roberto Javier Gomera going to be in 10th place. That's your top 10 as drivers coming through 3 and 4. Pace car lights are off. We're going this time by. Tanner Johnson's got to be feeling very comfortable where he's placing himself. Next to him's the damaged vehicle. We'll see how this restart goes. Will the 12 be able to go? Also, will we be seeing any wheel spin? And immediately, just like that, understanding Caleb Smith goes straight into the grass. A little bit further down than I think he really planned to go. And now that's going to be giving Tanner Johnson immediate gap over the rest of the field. Jacob, and now drivers are asking for black flag clears because that actually is hurting a lot of drivers. He came down so early that everyone else got zinged with a flag. Tanner Johnson immediately to the inside, going to be defending himself from Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese just powers by on the outside. The outside looks quite strong early on here, Zach.
Yeah, it's looking better and better as the race goes on. That's something we're going to see. This dynamic track here on iRacing has got to update, and the more rubber they lay down on these lanes, it's going to change around here. So it seems like the high side's starting to come in here 20 laps in early.
Altice as well for Grant, able to make a great run, 3 wide past Tanner Johnson. And Johnson, we talked about how with those older tires, he was going to drop back quickly. He's being swarmed by everyone. So far, has dropped down to 8th place. Tom Bourne has got to the lead and passing Braxton DeWeese, but here comes Trenton Jump. Jump now, battling for 2nd place.
Yeah, early on, it looks like you can really use these tires up, and these guys are trying to get the most as this pack, almost this pack style racing with the 550 package here as they head down the 1. See what Jump can do. Jump's, man, he's showing a lot of speed here early in this race.
I mean, he's finished 2nd so many times, has been the bridesmaid. And just has no chance, it seems like, to really beat out the luminary drivers. He has always been behind either Tom Bourne or Shane Tarian. Now has a chance. Braxton DeWeese going to go extremely high, almost into the outside wall, trying to build that momentum up. And here comes the 15 once again, but also Jump going below the apron, trying to get on below the 54, and will do so. Here comes Jump.
Great pass on the bottom, but here comes DeWeese trying to use that same run on the bottom. Can't get the run off he needs here, but the draft's going to help that 54 down the back straightaway, also with that momentum up top, and Jump to the lead for now.
Jacob Grant, also one of those drivers that looks extremely quick, but in 6th place, just waiting behind this pack of 5. That's going to be Shane Tarian. He's also got his teammate of Bronson Stafford going to be following suit in 6th and 7th place as our top 5. Just looking so strong on top of one another. Kind of looking like we're at Super Speedway racing.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's literally looking like a super speedway here. And, man, I tell you what, if it comes down to a short run here, what they caution we get near the end of this race, it's going to be a wild finish. It's going to be anybody's game at that point.
And here comes Trenton Jump once again, trying to get by Tom Bourne. Finally clear, going to be moving up, sliding up in front of the 54. Now going to be boxed in as here comes Braxton DeWeese in the 15. He's now going to be low and trying to get past Tom Bourne. Tom's looked quick early on, but it is difficult. And also, got to be thinking the mind games. Who's saving tires in this battle and who's pushing as hard as they can?
Oh, completely. These guys are playing a lot of mind games with each other. I mean, that's this package in a nutshell, man. You can't get away from each other early, so you might as well not use it up here. And some of these guys are definitely, maybe possibly using it up while these other guys are saving their stuff, waiting for that long run to come into effect.
And just like that, Tanner Johnson, he tried the strategy out. He's all the way back to 17th place. He was our leader on this restart. Trent Jump now going to be moving up in front of Tom Bourne. Do want to give an update. Looks like Caleb Smith, Robert Sherwood, Matt Dyer, as well as Johnny Jones. All 4 of those drivers have officially DNF'd from today's race.
Not what they needed here today at Kansas, but they got 5 races after tonight to make that up and see if they can make a final push into the playoffs for those drivers. And man, it's tough to bounce back from, but they have a chance. Winning your end gives it 20 guys a chance to do it. So it's gonna be fun to see.
Yeah, I mean that's the one big thing for Dyer is it seems like ever since he won Daytona, he's always come over and chatting like, well, I've had a bad week. It's all right. At least I won. I know I'm locked in, but with the continuous bad weeks that we've been seeing the 88 have, he's going to need to stay a lot more consistent moving forward into the rest of the season if he even wants to make the playoffs, because like you said, they've got to be in the top 20 with that win to be locked in.
Great racing up front here, still going on. Shane Theory making the pass on Joshua in the 5 there to put himself into the top 5. See if he can go for the 4-peat, man. That would be some feat there. Look at Jacob Grant there as they go by the slow car on the high side there. Look at the 63 Alex Walter.
Yeah, Alex Walter going to be finally put a lap down, has no back bumper and heavily damaged. Braxton DeWeese actually used the lap car kind of as a pick to try to get by Tom Bourne. It didn't work out as they are still side by side for second place.
Yeah, they've been pretty much living there in second place. They're side by side this whole entire time. Tombo right on the middle, Braxton Deweese right on that white line, and it's kind of let jump stretch a little bit here, but it's only 2/10 of a second. And now they go single file, see if Bourne can reel that 46 in.
I mean, Zach, these guys, we're starting to see, some of the drivers that ran well, qualified extremely well for themselves. They're starting to fade back. Those drivers that were running around midfield, they're now making their charge. Shane Terrian, one of those drivers, just got into the top 5. I mean, do you think some of these drivers were they don't have the qualifying pace, but the race pace certainly is there?
Oh yeah, I mean, driving these things compared to race to qualifying is night and day. Most of the time your qualifying laps completely, foot flat to the floor. It's trying to be as smooth as possible and not scrub off that speed is really the key a lot of times when it comes to qualifying laps in these cup cars. But when you get in that race, it lets the drivers that can manipulate that car with the throttle and the wheel, gives them just that little bit more advantage. And you're going to see guys that don't have the qualifying pace, but they have that race pace. And I think that's what you're seeing here early on at Kansas.
Some drivers running in that middle lane, others going straight up to the wall. Not many drivers are trying to go all the way down to the white line. As drivers that are side by side battling, that's going to be back for 10th place as Logan Brakey as well as Tyler Stooksbury. They're going to be having themselves a little bit of a duel here to see who's going to get into the top 10. Looks like Logan Brakey able to win that battle for now. Here comes Tyler Stooksbury once again on the outside and following suit behind him. That's going to be Eric Stamp. Stamp, one of those drivers right on the bubble, 12th in points coming in today's race.
Yeah, only 1 point up, and he's on the 5, 1 point up, and the 5 of Joshua is up, in the top 6 right now. So that if we were talking right now, it looks like Joshua would be ahead of Eric Stamp. So Eric Stamp definitely needs a good runner tonight, but also Stooksbury right directly in front of him. He's 14th in points, 8 points behind Eric Stamp in here tonight. So guys all throughout the field looking for great runs here tonight to make up some points.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make those certain moves. We saw Taryn Johnson, one of those drivers outside of our top 12, staying out, trying to get that bonus point of a lap led. And so far, it's only dropped down to 17th. That's as far as he's gone. It looks like he's equaled out with all the other drivers he is at right now. As we're seeing right here, here's Spencer Hardison. Hardison, 15th place at the moment, trying to run down the 4 of Keenan Massey. And right now, kind of in a no man's land. He doesn't really have too many cars in front of him or behind him at the moment.
Yeah, not really. Yeah, they're here in 15th right now. Like, got a few seconds back to Jordan, a few seconds up to Massey, and then, like you said, Johnson. The thing with Tanner Johnson, he's going to have to start thinking about a pit here, probably within the next 10 to 15 laps here, possibly. And he's going to want to see a caution, hopefully, because it might not play out the way he wants to. He might have we'll have to see how the fuel mileage works, really, to see how these guys are going to split it up here, especially with that early caution.
Yeah, and also another driver that has been having kind of an off day, the 42 of Joshua Chadrick Williams. Seems like the 42 machine does have slight damage for himself, running now in 21st position, 2 laps down, just went 2 laps down for himself. Not really a lot of these drivers I was expecting to try to make a charge up to the front. They're not really having the best days for themselves. But a man that has been consistent and has already won 3 races in a row trying to make it forward, that's going to be Shane Terrian, now moving up to 3rd place, battling with Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese, once again, side by side with another luminary driver.
Yeah, he can't get rid of it though. He's gonna rip the high line, go around the very top there. Great awareness from the 30 of Shane Terrian there, not to drift up in front of him. And I tell you what, great battle in there, but it looks like that high line, we continue to see it. It looks very much that's the line you want to defend with.
Yeah, I mean, Grant is certainly trying that low lane, got to the white line, and still is staying close, but, it's just not able to hold that speed just because he's got a driver to his outside, not able to really pull his car up to the high side and go full throttle, but certainly has the advantage to the center of the corner.
Definitely does, and right there, pulling up ahead of him. Shane Theory and I are dropping back now, or back to the fifth position. So he's at the reset here, see if he can go forward. But we got a caution.
Caution. That is going to be Robert F. Kenny. That's going to be going off. It looks like out of turn 2, just getting loose for himself.
Oh man, after a good run at Pocono last week, that's unfortunate for him to see.
He was running in 13th at the time, and He wasn't really being pressured too hard by Massey that was around, but here's your freaky fast replay coming at it too. 34 just
Oh,
loses it off the exit and tried to save it, just wasn't able to. And you're going to see a vicious hit into this wall that's going to make him explode with all that energy.
man. That's a race ender right there, and that's unfortunate for him because he enters here tonight after that good run last week, ninth in points and only 4 up, from Joshua in the 5. So, man, that's unfortunate to see for Robert Kinney, because like I said, good run last week, but this week's gonna go up in a bang.
Yeah, and due to the smoke that's pouring out of that thing, the engine is blown, so that's at least 30 minutes of required repair time. And it looks like required repair time is also something that Dyer is doing after he is now sitting in pit road. He disconnected and now reconnected back in. Looking at our field, our top two once again staying out and into pit road, leading that charge is gonna be Trenton Jump.
Oh, man, it just swapped up on us there. So Bourne and Altice there looking to stay out. Man, oh man, rest of the drivers have what Lita will call a pit party as they come down, and Bourne and Altice weren't invited, I guess.
I mean, Altice looked like he saw everyone in front of him coming in. Born, uh,
He's-
unlucky, but
yeah.
unlucky. Looks like Shane Terrian, though, going with fuel only for the 38 machine. So some drivers thinking big game of how do I save my tires and at least have a set later on. Trenton Jump going to be taking a new set. So one of those drivers we're expecting to take the lead and try to run away with this thing. Spencer Hardison, another one of those drivers that went with fuel only, as well as Evan Coleman. The rest of the field went with 4 tires.
And that puts them in an interesting situation for drivers who did take 4 tires. That's going to be 3 sets for them now. Other than Tanner Johnson, who didn't pit last time, but the drivers who took 4 that time took 4 the time before. Now sitting at 3 sets of tires in the pits. It's possible to do the rest of the race on that, but they're going to have to hope this thing goes pretty much green, or they're going to have to stay out a few cautions.
Yeah, I mean, if we have another caution in about another 20 laps or so, expecting to see those drivers that went with fuel only, as well as Tom Bourne and Altus, for them to come into the pits due to staying out. Those drivers that took 4 and for the second time, I would think if another caution comes out in another 20 laps, they're going to have to stay out or just come in for fuel, because got to figure out how to save a set moving forward, because if we're already seeing a caution every 20 laps, this is not going to work out very well for those drivers later on in the race.
That never does. It never does. And I tell you, Shane Therian, I like his strategy of taking fuel and just like you said, playing for that long game. He didn't take a set of tires. He just came down, took some fuel, didn't even lose track position. I mean, he gained track position technically, so it worked out pretty well for the 38. He's going to be swamped here a little bit with the fresh tires behind him, but he can go longer than anybody other than Tom Bourne in the 5 of Joshua here, who can't go as far with fuel.
Yeah, another one of those drivers that just broke into our top 10, Evan Coleman, that went with fuel only, started back in 23rd position, now up to 10th. A great charge for himself, and we'll see if this strategy works out for the 51 machine.
Tom Bourne's looked great so far, still leading this race, but we'll have to see what he can do on the old tires here. Big thing for them, the guys that are on old tires here, is I think they just got to play it safe here and just, mind their P's and Q's and let the guys with new tires get by them here and hope that it comes back in their favor for later in the race. They're the guys on the new tires, passing guys on old tires.
Shocking to see. Looks like Evan Coleman, who was in 10th place, I just talked about how much he moved up, comes into pit road late, just goes for a splash of fuel, trying to pack it full of fuel. And looks like he's going to be going with the strategy of trying to stay out as long as possible, even though he's on the older tires than the guys that just took 4 tires.
Now that's pretty interesting. Right here sitting at this point, we're just under 120 to go. So that means if you can make it into a 60 lap run, you could split this thing.
Well, our top 5, it's going to be Tom Bourne, Joshua Altice, Shane Terrian, Trenton Jump, and Spencer Hardison, your top 5. Then you got Jacob Grant, Braxton DeWeese, Gilberto Javier Gomera, as well as Bronson Stafford, and Logan Brakey, your top 10, as we are getting ready to go green here, coming to 42 laps to be ran. Zach, so far early on, we've seen 2 quick cautions. How are you thinking about this race so far?
Tell you what, it's been a lot of good racing so far, but it looks like getting out front after them tires starts wearing is going to be the key here for track position.
Base car pulls off. Green flag in the air. Tom Bohr going to be trying to pull along his teammate of Shane Terry, and it's both of them. Got a great launch, and it looks like they timed it perfectly, leaving Altice in the dust as they'll be dropping back to third position.
Yeah, great teamwork there, but you see the 54 to really go up high here in the corner and let the 38 get directly out front here. And now we'll see if them tires start to come forward as they go down the back straightaway. Wow.
They are going to be going 3 wide, battling here for fourth place. It's going to be Grant trying to push it and making a charge, but they're going to be seeing both Jump and Grant. Grant now going to be going 3 wide for second place. Will do so, trying to get by Altice and Bourne, who did not pit on this last stop. Possibly 4 wide racing, as they're still trying to figure out how they're going to be scattering it into turn number 1, and somehow they make it through.
Wow, that takes patience right there from drivers with guys on old tires. You just can't run them over here as the 5's just trying to hold on to it as he's getting almost ran over through the back here.
Yeah, Altice and Bourne, we're expecting both of them to really just drop through, and Altice really stuck and continues to drop back. I think he might have got it in the wall, but it's going to be Hardison. it's going to be Evan Coleman and others going through the grass.
Yeah, I believe Spencer Hardison and Evan Coleman there. I believe that's who it is.
Also, it's going to be Tanner Johnson who went through the grass, just got going. Jacob Grant, though, up front. They're battling once again. 2 wide for fourth place. Snooksberry going to be trying to make a charge here on Trenton Jump. Jump able to defend. And now Shane Terrian expecting to see him drop back as all the drivers that went for fuel or did not pit, they continue to go backwards.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much a long ways back now for them, and they're going to have to hope now that we do get some type of caution here about 20 to 15, 20, 30 laps into this race, because if it goes green, it doesn't look great for them.
No, they're going to be extremely off the pace for everyone here. But man, this is some close battling. Braxton DeWeese, he's got a little bit of a room to come back down. It's now closed up. Trenton Jump has gotten to the inside. Stooksberry is going to be trying to close up onto Jump and trying to leave Braxton DeWeese. Now Grant's going to be moving in front of DeWeese, blocking him on the outside. And Jump now coming through and back up front. And this looks like Trenton Jump. This could be the race where he finally gets the win this season and gets that monkey off his back.
Oh, man, what a night it would be for him in that 46 to get that first victory, man, here at Kansas. It'd be real special to see. And, man, the pace he's shown. Like I said last week, man, if there wasn't Shane Theory in there, he would have dominated the race. He was just so dominant in the 46. But up front here tonight, this could be the time, like you said, Sam.
One of the fastest drivers during practice did not have the qualifying run. That's going to be Adley Gray in the 96. He's up to 4th, trying to get by Jacob Grant. But Gray has been certainly making his mark early in this restart. He had to restart back in 8th place. He's made a couple of passes. And now Gray trying to move into 3rd. It looks like he's gotten to that position. Like I said, 3rd fastest during practice. So he got to learn a little bit about how the draft was going to react during practice time. Now he's in race temp and getting things moving for this 96 machine.
Yeah, great run going for him. No top 5s, no top 10s through the first 6 races this season. Here, race number 7. It could be a lucky number 7 here from this week, because, man, up into the top 5 with a good bit still left in this race, man.
Yeah, we're not even at 100 laps to go or even at halfway. So a lot of these drivers still thinking long term, but some of these drivers showing off, they've got a lot of speed. Trent Jump, we know he's going to be one of the favorites later on. But the biggest thing about Kansas is usually you get either a lot of cautions early or late in a race. We've had 2 early on so far, and that means that we could be going into a really long green flag run. And Zach touched on it. That could be hurting those drivers that went with fuel only and did not take tires on this last restart.
It would be devastating to the race. There's no way they'll make that time back up if the thing stays green to the end. They're going to have to, try to just rebound for the next pit stops, and they possibly might even be out of the window to make it into a 1-stop. We've seen Coleman top off in himself. Maybe he can make it on a 1-stop race, or it's looking like a 2-stop most likely.
Yeah, Coleman's really got to try, and it looks like he is extremely off the pace of everyone else, trying to maybe save a little bit of fuel. But if you're going to be doing a strategy where you're trying to cut off, a pit stop from everyone else, you got to make sure you stay on the lead lap when everyone else goes into pit road. If you go a lap down, that whole entire strategy kind of goes up in smoke and really wasn't worth it.
Oh, it definitely won't be. If you got to give up that much time, it's never worth it. So, man, it's just really a great battle so far through this right here. These guys dive and up, Trent Jump. Man, Trenton Jump, we got the chat talking about Bridesmaid out there, Sam, but Trenton Jump out here with the lead is just driving away.
Yeah, I love that comment. Hopefully the bridesmaid will be the beautiful bride tonight. We'll see. Can Trent Jump get to that point? But there's still a lot of racing to go. I mean, this is still early on. Yes, it's been exciting racing with how drivers had to evade the older tires with the fresher ones. And looks like now everyone's kind of calmed down. Everyone's single filed out. And now we're trying to figure out where you want to place yourself. But yeah, you got to stay focused at this point. This is when you really got to make sure you're saving your tires and you're not overcooking them as we keep on moving forward.
That's the top 5 comment on Freaky Fast Broadcast. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure Trenton Jump will like that comment if it comes to fruition here as you see Stokesbury working his way past Alex Walton there in second place. And Stokesbury, he needs a good run tonight. I was pointing that out earlier, about 14th in points. He needs a great run. He's shown a lot of speed this season, just hadn't had the luck to get that top 5 here yet.
Yeah, especially with Robert Kenny having the issues that he had being involved in that last accident blowing his engine. Currently, Robert Kenny is 16 laps down and still on pit road trying to get that engine repaired. So Stokesbury, with the run that he's having, if he can lead a lap, get a bonus point, really help the 19 car out on trying to get into the top 12 points.
Yeah, I mean the points are just so close this season. It's so fun to watch this battle here. I mean 8th through 15th, it's been separated by 20 points. That's just great to see with these final 6 races coming up.
Everyone's still staying pretty single filed out. Some of the side-by-side racing that's going on are for drivers that are on those older tires. As Tanner Johnson in 15th place, able to make a pass so far, able to get by Joshua Altice. Altice in that 5 looking so strong, but when that restart happened, I'm concerned if maybe he brushed the wall and that's why he was dropping back so much faster than what Tom Bourne was losing time on the rest of the field.
Yeah, looking at that race car, Lou, it does look like he's made a little bit of contact on that right side here, looking in closer for myself. So, yeah, it might have gotten to the wall there. And, I mean, when everybody's on new tires, you try to get up and out the way. And he could have been fearing there and accidentally got into the wall there. So, doesn't look too bad looking at it. But we'll see how it plays out from here. I mean, he's got the 54 Tom Bourne there directly in front of him who's on the same strategy.
Yeah, I'm looking at Tanner Johnson. Johnson actually has fresher tires. It's just, it looks like he backed down his pace so much that now he's starting to equal out with everyone else. He's just been on tire saving mode this whole entire run, and it's working for himself. He's made now 2 passes up to 14th, trying to get by Shane Terrian up to 13th. For an early run for this 23 machine, it's not a bad strategy to take things slow and just slowly make your charge forward.
Oh, definitely not bad. I mean, no top 5s, no top 10s this season. We could definitely see him crack into the top 10 here with a good slow movement forward. It's always smart to save your tires, man. I like drivers that do that, and Tanner Johnson's definitely pulling that off right now as he goes by the 38 of Shane Terrian, who we must point out is on the older tires. But we'll see if that 14 can go forward, or 23, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with this new update, it's even more prevalent than what it was previously of save constantly with these tires. Another amazing battle that's going on is for 7th place. You've got yourself Roberto Javier Gomera as well as Eric Stamp. These guys are keeping it and dueling to see who's going to get in 7th place.
Yeah, Gomera just got by in the 94. Now you got the 53 Eric Stamp. They're dropping back to the 8th position, and Stamp's another driver needing another good run here right on the edge of those points, and he's definitely done it well tonight. 16th to 8th, made up those 8 spots, and looking strong so far here. And if this strategy plays out this way, he could be looking for maybe a top 5 or a really good top 10 here.
In 8th place, doing a great job for himself. Then we move up in front of them. Battle for 3rd place is Jacob Grant, Braxton DeWeese, and Atlee Gray. They're on top of one another, and Braxton DeWeese not afraid to get a little aggressive, nor is Jacob Grant. They are willing to really make any types of moves that they have to late in races. As here comes Braxton DeWeese to the inside, trying to get by the 52 machine.
DeWeese always great as the race continues on. He always seems to be so good on the long runs. That's one thing I noticed about this guy. He just gets better and better as the race goes on, and that's why he's got the most points accumulated this season. I mean, he's just consistently each and every week building up right into that top 5, almost top 3 almost every single week. So, man, he's been there each and every week in that 15, and he's making definitely a name for it here. But Jacob Grant and Atlee Gray now battling behind him.
Yeah, Grant got extremely loose out of turn number 2. Was wiggling it completely. What makes it worse is that he was side by side with Gray in that fact, so trying to keep himself off the wall and off the 94, and does so successfully.
Doing a great job there. This is great racing. This is something I'm happy to see here at Kansas, man. We're so used to just being a train right around that top side there. Where you see Jacob Grant running. These guys are able to use options and go to the bottom, go to the middle, go to the top. So it's fun to watch when it's like this.
Yeah, I mean, Braxton DeWeese, he was one of the trendsetters, I would say, of tonight's race. He was one of the drivers that found out that the wall in those first about 10, 15 laps on these tires really quick, and now he's starting to make those passes on the inside. Now trying to make the move here on Stooksbury for second place. And, you just got to figure out where the speed is at. It's a lot easier, I would say, for dirt-wise when you're looking for speed, because you just see, hey, there's the moisture where it is not. Here on asphalt, when your tires start to get worn down, it's a little bit difficult to really find where the speed is. You really got to test and trust that where you're putting your car is the fastest.
Yeah, you got to search really hard to find the grip here on asphalt. Like you said, on dirt, we got the visual cues. I mean, you get a little bit of visual cue with the rubber here, but nothing too crazy. So it's definitely, a search and find type of deal. And you can see Jacob Grant up here. He's trying to find every bit of grip he can up top there, while the other three drivers ahead of him search down low. And that's all we can ask for in a simulation here on iRacing is just give us options as drivers, and the drivers will go out there and find them. And that's beautiful to see here so far tonight.
Looking at the track times that these drivers have been putting down, Trenton Jump, I mean, he is flying through this course. In the last 3 laps, he has been running about 2 to 3 tenths faster than the rest of the field. Braxton DeWeese finally has been able to pass Stooksbury, so that last lap actually ran a little bit faster than Jump, but the difference between first and second, 2 seconds, Jump has done a great job pulling away from everyone else.
Yeah, and he's moving around and searching a little bit. I've been watching him here the last few laps. He'll run the white line a few times. He'll move up to the bot or the middle of 3 and 4 there, and kind of run the seam. And those seams can be your friend. We see those on the track that run all the way along the track. Those seams can really help the handling of your car. If you're a little bit tight, you can use that to help loosen you up. And if you're a little bit loose, you can stay off of them. So it's a really good tool as a driver to be able to use those seams. That's where the progressive banking is, and that's what makes Kansas really fun. And now we got the multi-groove racing here. It makes it even better.
Oh, yeah, a driver that is hoping for a caution soon and hoping it's not him. Jacob Grant currently. I mean, this 52 machine, you've been seeing it on screen. He's been getting loose out of 2 almost every lap. And you got to be thinking he's pushing this car to its maximum, trying to keep up with Gray and also trying to keep up. But those drivers that just that stayed out didn't hit Tom Bourne as well as Altice. Tom Bourne, one of those first drivers, is now he's going to be hitting pit road.
Yeah, looks like he'll hit pit road this time. See if Shane Theory and his teammate hits pit road here soon also. But those drivers are definitely going to have to be pitting soon. Oh, man, definitely some loose guys out here off of 2 so far is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I mean, seems like they're loose through the center, coming out of the corner when they're on fresher tires, and then once later the run goes on, it's on exit, where we're seeing a lot of these cars wiggling and losing that back end. Here comes Altice now into pit road for the 5 machine. So both of the drivers that stayed out, both of them have come into the pits. And now it's the question of when will we see the rest of the field come in, and probably leading that group of drivers probably going to be Brockton Packard as well as Austin Jordan. I think those drivers back half the field, they're going to think about probably short pitting, try to gain some time with the drivers in front of them.
They'll definitely be trying to think about their strategies to gain time. That's a good strategy to pull if you're farther back. Use that short pit. You never know how it could play out. Catch a caution when that everything cycles through. You could be in a good position, but you also can short pit and catch a caution. You'll be a lap down. So it's kind of one of those dual-edged swords. But man, I tell you what, got to do something sometimes. So we'll see when guys start electing to do that. But at the moment, I tell you what, Braxton DeWeese looking super fast right now in this 15. I think he saved something for this run.
Yeah, I mean, he had to follow some of the slower drivers as well as trying to save, but he certainly has been making that charge. It went from 2 seconds was the difference to now 1 second. If you're on Facebook, though, you just saw it. The poll popped up. Will you think Jump's going to get his first win of the season? Yes or no? If you're on Facebook watching the Freaky Fast broadcast, figure out, what do you think? Is he yes or is he no?
Oh man, from past, most people would probably say no, but man, he's just so fast each and every week. I mean, you finish second that many times, you're bound to break into victory lane at some point. And I mean, I can't wait for Jump to do it. But is tonight the night? That's the question y'all, everybody out there is gonna have to ask themselves. I'm thinking it is. I'm really thinking deep down this could be his night. But Braxton Deweese might have something to say about this in the 15 also.
Yeah, early on in these polls, it looks like yes, Jump's going to get his first win, is leading that. But yeah, it's still a lot of racing to go. We're almost to the halfway marker. Jump's done a great job, but Deweese, he is always, I mean, when it comes down to saving tires, I think Braxton Deweese and Shane Terrian, both those drivers, probably the best at it out of everyone in this field. So Jump's got a very tall order if he's going to be figuring out how to get his first win this season. But that last lap, I mean, you got to give credit to Jump. He's pulled away. And I think it might have been because of lap traffic and a little bit of loose sensation that these drivers are starting to feel now.
Yeah, man, this is definitely the guy I don't think you want to see tracking you down is Braxton Deweese. It was about a hundredth of a second between the two there, so kind of evened out there a little bit. But Deweese will cut into that every few laps and get a few hundreds here and there, and it's just slowly bringing that time down. And tell you what, he's got the 46 at Trenton Jump searching right now. He's moving all over the racetrack, going high and low, trying to find grip because he sees that 15 getting bigger in the mirror.
Yeah, the big thing for Jump is that he does have a mirror to look back and try to see where the 15's running. But right now, got to be nervous now. Right now, Deweese has got into the zone where he's got a little bit of draft help. But Zach, yes, we've seen Deweese. He's catching up. But would that dirty air from the draft hurt Deweese now that he's caught up to Jump?
Oh, definitely. And I think that's what Jump's got to use is he needs to see where Deweese is coming and put himself there. Now, if you're Braxton Deweese, you need to set him up almost for almost a fake. You know, you want to make him think you're coming on the bottom, and then you're just setting him up to make him go low, and then you're going to take that high side. So this is the beauty of multi-group racing here. It can be somewhat of a chess game, and dirty air being a factor. I Jump's not electing to use it yet, but I think at some point he's got to take that line away if he wants to hold him off.
Yeah, Jumpsman, he certainly has been trying, but he's been running so close to that outside wall, it looks like he's just trying to save his tires. Could be waiting for Deweese to get close enough. Do want to note that Shane Terrian and the 38 machine has pitted. First car of those that went with fuel only on this last restart. And now we're going to see more drivers trickling into pit road as we're getting closer and closer to halfway.
Yeah, closer and closer to halfway, and yeah, he definitely used that fuel to his advantage there. Go a little bit farther than his teammate and Joshua Altice there. So farther than Tom Bourne and Joshua Altice. Therian now back out there. We'll see when the rest of the guys who took tires now. When do they come?
Yeah, you're seeing on screen Jacob Grant, who's just been getting looser and looser as the run goes on. He's been searching on the high lane, searching on the low lane. Currently in 5th place, about to be passed here by the 94 of Javier Gomera. Gomera has been doing a great job for himself, currently running in 6th. And he's one of those drivers that, you know, he's not always one of the favorites. He's not the top 5 drivers that you always throw out, but Gomera is one of probably the best drivers that has gotten better every single race that I've seen. And it makes you excited to see when we'll see the 94 possibly get his first win as well.
No, definitely. It's been a build-up as the season's continued on. He's just got better and better. And like you said, I could definitely see him cracking into victory lane and, you know, cracking into the top 5 for the first time this season, possibly this year. He's trying to get into the top 5 for the first time tonight.
Oh, boy. There he goes, going on the inside. And Jacob Grant's got to be concerned about that back end. I mean, the heat on that rear right, it's been building up, and it has been getting worse. Eric Stamp behind these guys also able to make the pass on Logan Brakey. Brakey seems to be falling back. A driver that is surprising me that is not up front, but is now making a late charge. That's Bronson Stafford in 9th place, as he is slowly trying to pass by both Logan Brakey and Eric Stamp.
Yeah, you kind of literally took the words out of my mouth there. I mean, when I just looked at the leaderboard and saw him there passing, or, you know, side by side here, Brakey, for this 8th position. I would have expected the 61, yeah, to be a contender for this thing. I mean, man, each and every week, Bronson Stafford, I mean, he started out this season as the points leader, but each and every week, he's been consistently very strong. And I don't know, maybe it could come to him here as the race goes on, and he's starting to figure it out here in the 61.
I know there was a little bit of a jumble early in this race in the first 5 laps where about 15th on back, everyone kind of had to scatter because they got jumbled up. That I think Bronson might have been caught up in that incident that has put him kind of further back, but he certainly has been making a charge forward. One of the fastest cars in the top five, I mean in the top 10, making that charge forward for himself. And it's certainly now everyone's in a wait mode. And this is when tactics have to come in. When are we going to be seeing some of our front leaders coming into pit road? As you just saw there, that's going to be Gray making the pass on Stooksbury. That's been a build-up pass that's been waiting for the past about 15 laps or so. And then behind them, Gomera's trying to make the pass on Grant once again.
Yeah, you almost got a mirror image of the battles right here between these the 96 and the 19 here now with the 52 and the 94. It took Atlee Gray a while to get by Stooksbury, but he finally made that bottom work. We'll see if Gomera can do the same here with Grant. But yeah, the battle for third on back to six, man, has been great to watch so far. Side by side racing. Drivers just making the outside and that bottom work very even.
Oh, yeah. They've been certainly searching up and down to find that space. Spencer Hardison in the 9 machine. He's now going to be pulling into pit road. And he's one of those drivers that I believe had to take, he was one of those drivers that tried to take tires, I think. And now he'll be coming to the pits, as well as Tanner Johnson, who tried a different bit of a strategy for the 23, excuse me.
Yeah, he'll hit pit road here now also in this 23. So yeah, great. You know, doing that different strategy here, we'll see when our leaders elect is, like you said, the drivers near that 10th to position there in the teens there, they're going to most likely be stopping a little bit earlier, try to get that undercut here. But let's see what our leaders do compared to this, see how much longer they stretch it here. Maybe that'll give us a good estimate on fuel.
Well, we're past the halfway, and most of these drivers were able to stretch it out for about 40 laps for these drivers pitting early. Everyone else, we'll see how far they can go. Most likely one more stop to go for everyone that's still out here on track. If you're on Facebook, you see in the chat, there is some merch that you guys can go to that link. You can buy some of Freaky Fast Broadcasting merch. Got some great content and collectibles to grab there. It is great purchases for clothing if you want to get it there in the Springs T area. And now on track, you're seeing Logan Brakey. Brakey, one of these drivers, he's been trying to stay consistent and now into the pits.
Yeah, and leader Trenton Jump hitting pit road too here in the 46 now. Oh, one driver behind that. I don't know exactly who that was. Oh.
I think it might have been Gray that had a little bit of an issue coming in.
Yeah, I think he hit the cone there. That sometimes will equate to a 15-second hold here. We'll have to see if this 96 has that issue. He's been having a great run up to third.
And then following Trent Jump, you had Gomera coming in, Brakey, and then you saw also Gray. More drivers coming into pit road. This is around lap 45, 46. See how far these drivers really can push themselves. I think the ones that we got to focus on has to be Stooksbury on how far he wants to go. Braxton DeWeese as well as Grant now into the pits.
Yeah, everybody elected now to come down here as Stooksbury continues on with Stamp and Stafford there. As they battle for that second spot, there is now Stafford now slides up into the second spot here before the pit stops.
And everyone now going to be getting back on track. Now the question is, now that we've seen some of our leaders pitting this time by, as Stooksbury pulls it in, Bronson Stafford decides to stay out for another couple of laps here. And now the question of where will Tom Bourne as well as Shane Tarian, where are they going to lie? Because they pitted way earlier than everyone else because they were off sequence. As oh man, on screen there, you saw Jordan and others battling side by side.
Yeah, great battles here. These guys get new tires. They're trying to get everything out of it here. As you can see, Evan Coleman on the picture here now. Spencer Hardison going by these guys on brand new tires. Evan Coleman still out here on racetrack. And remember, he topped off. Does he try to stretch it to lap 100? Because if he can stretch it to 100, that means he went 60 laps. And he can stretch it all the way to the end. We'll have to see.
I don't see how Coleman. No, he's not going to be able to. He's pulling it into pit road now for the 51. So around 47 to 48 laps, these drivers could possibly go on a stint of fuel. That means at least one more pit stop for these drivers to go. And that will be around lap 120 is where these drivers, most likely, we're going to be seeing a lot of them coming in pit lane.
Yeah, it looks like everybody there. One stop to go now, 120. gonna be that number they need to hit. But man, the question is now, Trenton jumped there, pitted a little bit earlier in DeWeese. He's gonna have to get by, which he's getting by Tom Bourne actually directly right now in that 54. So you can see the difference between them. And Stafford's still out here on the racetrack. Actually, he's just going back out onto the racetrack. But yeah, Trenton jumped back by there. Now that should put him up into the lead. But DeWeese there staying out a few more laps. Tell you what, with these tires right now, I like the strategy of going longer. We'll see if he can make that long run speed here work again.
Last time by, DeWeese was about almost 4/10 faster than Jump. He is flying right now with an extra lap on these tires, and also utilizing the draft a little bit from those lap cars. But this 15 machine is looking quick, and it might be one of the strategy calls from Kansas just because of the way the caution's laid out for everyone. It's not looking like anyone can really stretch it too far out there. I think Tom Bourne, he got the lead once it'll cycle through, but he's going to have to pit pretty similar to everyone else if he wants a chance, or extremely undercut everyone else.
Yeah, you see DeWeese. Oh, wow, you see the closing rate between the tires there. That's just the difference in rubber as the 15 goes by for a second now. Man, Tom Bourne, yeah, he's going to have to pit so early here now. Also, he's probably going to try to stretch the field as far as he can go there to make it as close as possible between the guys on tires. But they're just going to be losing time continuously as this run goes on because it's just that rubber difference. You just can't make it up, even though Tom Bourne was the leader of this race.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the number of the lap that we saw, the 54 and the 5 coming to pit road. They did not pit on the last restart that we had. That's thrown them off sequence so much. They are looking to be about 15 laps short, even if they pit as far as they can go. And so this puts them in a terrible spot. They're going to need a caution if they want to get back on sequence with the rest of the field.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They really might not even be able to make it a one-stop. They could possibly definitely be looking at a two-stop race here now. And they're going to need some type of caution to reset this field back up. But you never know, man. When you get these long green flag runs, we got those quick early cautions that we talked about. And like you said, you felt like it was going to go into a long green flag run. And here it is. And this is what happens. Everybody gets spread out, and now you got less likely of a chance of some incident happening.
Yeah, we're going to start to see there on your tickers, seeing drivers dropping down like Tom Bourne, Shane Terrian, both those drivers, but it's extremely earlier than everyone else, as well as Joshua Altice. Those 3 drivers in very, very precarious situations where they might not be able to make it on one more stop. The rest of the field, it looks like they've got one more stop to go. As we are past the halfway marker, everyone's starting to get spread out. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be back to conclude the rest of this race. All
Oh,
right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Adrenaline iRacing Cup Series. These guys have been running for 100 laps now, and it has been mostly green for the past about 60 laps or so. We had early cautions earlier in this race for the first 20 laps. We had two that came out. Right now, Trent Jump leading the charge in the 46 machine. It's been a pretty clean race. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. Zach, it has been clean for these drivers. Still one more pit stop to go, but it is still a long race.
long way still to go. Like you said, still one more stop. And I tell you what, a pit stop can be some drivers' just worst nightmare. Green flag stops, anything can happen. I mean, we've seen it. Atlee Gray running in the top three. Where's he at now? He's 16th in the 96. One lap down just from hitting a cone. Just a little bit too hot. Got into that cone and 15-second penalty. I tell you, it happens to the best of them, man. And it's just such an easy thing to do a mental lapse and just completely think about your competition when you hit pit road and then oops, I made a mistake. You got to be 100% on mark. Pit road is a place where not only you can win it but you can lose it also.
Yeah, Atlee Gray, Tyler Stooksbury, as well as Spencer Hardison. Those three drivers were running on the lead lap. For Atlee Gray and Stooksbury, they were running in the top five before that pit stop, and now they are both one lap down, running in 16th and 17th place. We're on board with third place runner right now, Gilberto Javier Gomera, right now in the 94 machine, and been doing a great job for himself, but he's got drivers that are hunting him down behind him. You've got Jacob Grant, Bronson Stafford. Stafford's finally got himself into the top five. And this 61 machine, looking at the times, one of the fastest cars on track because he was one of the last cars to pit.
Yeah, like you said, one of the last cars to pit, and I like that strategy of stretching it longer. These tires are a huge factor in this race, and I think you can see this 61 drive possibly up into this top three. It's going to be some type of feat to possibly catch this leader here if this thing stays green with 6.5 seconds. It's doable, but he's definitely got a great shot at top three here if this thing stays completely green with 61.
Yeah, Bronson Stafford last time was in victory lane was week number 2 when we were at Auto Club for our second race of the season, and 61 machine has seen his teammates win a couple of times since then. He wants to now be back in victory lane. He's got a lot of drivers though he's got to get by. Braxton Luis has been looking good, as well as Trenton Jump. And right now, Bronson 6.4 seconds back from our leaders. Still a long way to go, and he's only running about a tenth faster than what our leaders have been running.
Yeah, like you said, only about a tenth faster right now, so not the most time being made up for him, but also right here in the dirty air of that 52, directly in that 94. So he's caught up to Jacob Grant now. What is he going to do to get around him? That's going to be his question he's got to seek out. And I tell you what, Gilberto, though, having the run of his season so far in that third position, just huge shout out to him there, starting fourth and keeping it up in the top five pretty much most of the night. It's a great turnaround possibly for that 94 here.
Yeah, I came into today 19th in points, and 42 points out of making it into the playoffs. A solid day like today with having some of the drivers that are inside the playoffs having poor showings. This is a great run for the 94 machine. As Logan Brakey on screen, he's kind of running all on his own, currently in that 29 and 7th place with about 2 seconds in front of him is Eric Stamp, and about 3 seconds back is Tom Bourne.
Yeah, great run there for Logan Brakey. He has those silent runs. He's got 2 top fives and 4 top tens on his hand this season. And I tell you what, 14 points up on the cut line. That 29 Logan Brakey, he's just got them, nice solid top 10 runs each and every week, and that's what I think he's going to do to get into the playoffs here. Because like we said, looking back at Tom Bourne now, man, he's just not had the luck this season. This guy's had so much speed, but it just seems like the luck has not been on the side of the 54 so far.
Yeah, one of the favorites back at Charlotte, and then internet issues last week at Pocono, and then here today, just tried a bold strategy, staying out, not pitting on the last restart, and it just did not work out. Oh man, just struggling for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, I think his picture of Elmo, it desperately describes his season.
Pretty much.
Let's look at Jacob Grant now. So here in the 52, he's running in fourth. He's still right here, directly ahead of Stafford, who is now put the pressure on side by side, actually to his inside here.
Yeah, and Bronson Stafford going to be trying to make this pass. Whoa, Shane Terrian somehow saved that thing. I do not know how the 38 did not go into the grass or out into the outside wall. He'd been battling so strong with Brock and Packard, and just in one fell swoop, he's away from the danger.
And he is sideways. He literally turned in and was directly sideways on entry to exit. I mean, hey, Shane Therian, great driver, 3 in a row, and you can definitely tell he's a wheelman because he's got that thing hung out here on the old tires.
Yeah, Shane Tarian, one of those special drivers on course. Usually when you're on iRacing, you're running with a wheel and you're driving around with pedals. This 38 machine, most of his iRacing career has been on a controller. I believe he's still on a controller, doing a great job, like always, as he's still drifting it around these corners.
You just blew our minds up here in the booth, Sam.
Yeah, no, he won the championship last season with the controller, and he's been doing it almost his whole entire iRacing career. He's been so dominant, and it's always funny because he can always just throw that in someone's face, say, "I beat you with the controller," and it stings most drivers.
Man, oh man, I tell you what, that's a great fun fact, Sam. I'm so glad I know that now, man. I tell you what, he is driving the wheel saw with that controller, man. That is so impressive to see. I am literally speechless. Got that going. That's too. I think you mind both of them too, Sam.
Oh yeah, no, it is always a shocker to most. It's always fun. I've known Shane for a long time, and he is always shocking people with whenever I throw that stat out, and he shares it himself.
Oh man, how loose he is too. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, he's been out there right now for almost 40 some laps, so he's got to be worrying about tires, and it continues to burn off more and more. And Shane also, he's dealing with a little bit of damage. He made contact with Brockton earlier in this race, and they continue to have issues. Tom Bourne, of those early drivers, he's going to be the first one on pit road now.
The question for Tom too is going to be, can he make it that far that he has to go now? I don't think it might be possible for him to make it. So we'll have to see if Shane Therian, because of him topping off, he might be in the perfect position still to make it to that 120 mark. But actually, never mind. I'm completely doing my math wrong. I'm sorry, guys. He's fine. Tom Bourne will make it to the end, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's just going to make it. It was going to be a close battle. If he wasn't able to push it as far as he has, he was able to go the furthest that he could possibly go, about 48 laps he went there, so he should be good now after making this pit stop, and so should be Shane Tarian and also Altice. Both those drivers need to come into pit road as we're on board with Matthew Dyer. And Dyer, at least he's back on track. He was able to at least scrounge a couple of more positions as Shane Tarian completely loose and out into the grass.
Oh, he's got it back going though. I think.
Oh my!
He's not good, but we're good.
Yeah, I mean, he got to graze the grass a little bit, and got to mow the grass just a tad, but it continues to drop, and now you got to think, when is Shane gonna have to come into the pits, because he just continues to lose time. Joshua Altis now into the pits, and this is setting up the rest of the field. When will they come in? You can make it from this point on, but will you want to push it as far as you can go? And it looks like that might be the thought of Bronson Stafford. Shane Tarian continues to get loose. I mean, he's a hazard at this point, staying on track.
I mean, he's. I don't think there's a right or left. That thing is gone. So I'm surprised he hasn't stopped yet. I mean, he can make it on fuel. I'm guessing he's trying to go long enough here to where he doesn't have to worry about the looseness that he'll have to suffer on the next run. So, I mean, I don't know. That's definitely interesting to see him staying out here so far still.
Yeah, he's still running at the moment, but there's the leader behind his tailpipes, and now Shane Tarian, who was looking like he was poised to try to stay on the lead lap and then pit, is now just trying to survive out here, trying to push his tires as far as he can go. And here comes the leader, trying to jump to the inside possibly, and hoping that we don't see the 38 slide in once again.
Oh man, I literally thought the 46 might have had an issue there. I tell you, Shane Therian is holding on to it right now. But 3 in a row wins for him. He's gonna hit pit road this time, actually. So I was about to say he might try some radical strategy here because he has nothing to lose, but gonna hit pit road here now.
Oh my gosh, it's just terrifying. I mean,
I mean, think about Trenton Jump. He was just glad he could get by. So at the moment, he's still leading here with about a 1.7-second lead. So it's evened out between him and Braxton, even though Braxton pitted later. Tell you what, Jump this time has done better management with the tires, I feel like.
And also, Evan Coleman going to be coming into the pits. But yeah, Jump's been doing a great job so far, saving those tires, pushing along. But that is one of the scariest situations that a leader can be in. Because, I mean, I've seen it tons of times where a lap car gets loose in front of a leader and takes out the leader when they're leading the race. I mean, it happened in NASCAR this season already in the Xfinity Series. So it's easily can happen to anyone out there. Austin Jordan now into the pits for the 28 machine. And now's the time where we're going to be seeing a lot of cars flooding in the next 10 laps or so.
Yeah, you know what they say, there's no safe spot on the racetrack. You never can hide away from carnage, man. When it happens, stuff just happens. I mean, it's just random luck sometimes. It's just not your day. But Trenton Jump, it could be his day. I tell you what, if this thing continues on, he's starting to gap Deweese just a little bit the last few laps here. This could be the night, man. This could be very special for the 46.
We put the poll up to see who thought Trenton Jump could get his win tonight. And a lot of the people in the polls thought that Trenton Jump could get it here tonight so far. Been doing a great job. That difference coming into pit road this last time by Braxton Deweese was less than a second away. Due to the fact that I think Braxton was pushing so hard to catch up to Jump, even though he had the advantage on tires, he's now lost time. It's down to 1.7 seconds. But Jump still continues to push on and now cut up to lap traffic. Going to be losing a little bit of ground because of that dirty air. But these two have been doing a great job so far of both Jump and Deweese.
Yeah, kind of looking at lap times, it's kind of been back and forth between these two. One lap, Jump will run a quicker lap, one lap, Braxton Deweese will run a quicker lap. So it's been right around that 1.7 to 2 second gap margin. Now as Deweese was faster the last two times, by let's see if we can continue that, but I think they're nearing a pit stop definitely here soon as we're under 40.
Yeah, everyone is kind of in wait mode, and who's going to be able to push their car out the furthest? We know Bronson Stafford did it last time, able to get up to 4th place, so moved up 2 positions from when he pitted. A little bit of advantage for himself as Eric Stamp now going to be passed by Shane Terrian. Terrian currently 2 laps down, will most likely be a lap down once we see pit cycle get finished for ourselves here. And it looks like Austin Jordan might have been caught speeding on exit as he's back in pit road.
Oh no, that's unfortunate for Austin Jordan there. Man, oh man. Oh,
Yellow flag now.
Oh, on the front straightaway here. Looks like Brockton Packard, Tom Bourne in the 54. Oh no.
Oh no, this all happened with Keenan Massey in the 4. Got tight on the exit of 4, and Tom Bourne was an innocent victim as well as Packard. And so here's your Freaky Fast replay. Coming out of 4, just there was nothing that could happen. Tightness on the 4, gets caught up, also gets a bump from the 24 and the 54. Nowhere to go. A lot of 4s there.
Yeah, a lot of 4s and just nowhere to go off of turn 4 there, guys. So, man, it's unfortunate for Tom Bourne there. Same with Brockton Packard. I mean, Keenan Massey, just a little mistake there, just getting into the wall, and then you see what happens from there. And now that collects the 54 there and the 24. So 3 hurt race cars here, bringing out the caution, and now it's going to be wild to see what these guys can do now from here on out.
Yeah, Atlee Gray going to be your driver getting the lucky dog here on this caution. And now everyone coming into pit road, Trenton Jump and others, like Lee would usually say, pit party going on.
Yes, they are hitting pit road here, and only 10 drivers on the lead lap because, we had that few little sequence of pit stops there happening. And, that long green flag run got some guys definitely down laps here with some mistakes. So not many drivers on the lead lap here hitting pit road, but tires are going to be very valuable, and I believe this should be their last set, I believe, for most drivers.
For some, it could be. I believe most of them have at least one more set left.
There's definitely a few, I think, with a set left, but I believe for a few of them also maybe their last. We'll have to, iRacing, shout to iRacing for everything they bring us, but get us a thing where we can see how many tires they got left. That'd be nice.
We'll see. Well, Zach, we talked about this under caution break, but who do you got that you want to bring up into the booth and have a little bit of a chat with?
Well, let's bring Trenton Jump on up here since he's out ahead of this thing here, and he's looking pretty strong here. See what he has to think about these final laps here. See if he can get that first one. Actually, you know what? We might not be able to move Trenton because he's in a secret room. So
Trenton,
yeah, unfortunately,
we want to talk with you, bud.
yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
looks like we're not able to.
looks like maybe we'll go into Braxton DeWeese here in the 15 since he's in was in the second position. Let's say before. So let's bring up our points leader here to the waiting room and see what he has to say about the rest of this race going on. So, hey, Braxton and Sack up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, I do.
Hey, man. Well, I tell you what, you've been up there all night. Started from that pole. Was looking like a showdown between you and Trenton Jump there coming down the end, but we got this caution here to bring it all back together. What can we expect in this final portion of the race, man?
I really don't know, to be honest with you. Probably a bunch of craziness. You're probably going to see a bunch of cars all over the place trying to find grip and just trying to see where they can be the fastest at. As y'all have been seeing, the bottom has been really kind of the dominant place, you want me to be honest. I tried the middle and the top a couple times, and I just couldn't really make up any time on them. So it just depends on if you can get out there in that clean air and hold it.
Well, man, I tell you what, it's gonna be fun to watch from up here in the booth, buddy. Good luck to you, and hopefully we'll be talking to you possibly in Victory Lane, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. We'll hope so.
All right, buddy. We'll send you on back down there. That was Braxton DeWeese. And I tell you what, guys, you heard it from himself. He said it's gonna be wild, and man, I tell you what, the short run we talked about earlier. If we get a short run here to the end, what are we gonna see?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. We know our front 10, they're going to have fresh tires to work with. And then from about 12th on back, those are all the drivers that had to take waiver rounds. And they're going to have to deal with where they're going to be placing themselves. Atlee Gray was given the lucky dog position. Right now going to be starting in 9th place for the 96 machine. Everyone else that tried to take a waiver round, they're going to be putting themselves a total of 11 drivers on the lead lap. Pace car lights are off. We're going this time by. I know a lot of these drivers are hoping for a quick caution. They are hoping for quick. So Shane Tarian, who's in 14th place, he's third car, 1 lap down. And so he's got to figure out how to battle his way up to the front. This is going to be a tall order for a lot of these drivers.
Yeah, a lot of wave around guys looking to get that caution, like you said. So we'll see what could happen. I tell you what, you could almost expect the intensity to be very high, so a caution could definitely be possible here. We'll have to see in this final remaining portion, man, but let's see how it plays out.
Base car pulls off. Green flag out in the air. It's going to be Trent Jump. Javier Gomera going to be leading on the outside, but Bronson Stafford finding the middle as Trent Jump takes off. Bronson Stafford moves up to 2nd place. As well as you're going to be seeing it, Braxton DeWeese trying to follow the 61. We really haven't seen what the 61 has. Here comes Eric Stamp now into 5th place. Going to be now moving up into 4th as it looks like the 94, not the run and did not get up to speed the way that he wanted to.
Yeah, Gilberto there dropping back, not what he wanted for sure. But I tell you what, Braxton DeWeese, we just talked to him. He's back to 2nd as he gets by Bronson Stafford, and he says, I want a shot at Trenton Jump here as he's going for it down the front straightaway.
You're trying to stay close up front and battle for the lead, but Zach, we've been talking about it all night long. Tires have to be the focus coming later into this race.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we say this is a short run, but this is 30 laps. 30 laps, you go through a big cycle of tires. You cannot burn them up here and get too overzealous here early in the run.
Gilberto, who was up in 2nd place at the start of this race, has already moved now down to 7th. Issues for the 94, just continues to lose position after position, but could be a strategy, deciding to let everyone else push as hard as they can, and he'll strike later on in this race. Still Trent Jump and others as your whole entire basically top 8, all in line and staying as straight as possible, as looks like Johnson going to be battled by the lap machine of Spencer Hardison.
Yeah, there's Johnson in that 8th position. So great run going for Tanner Johnson. He's played this race perfectly so far and looking to get possibly his first top 10 of the season here, as like you said, battling with the lap car. But up front, still single file, but DeWeese all over the back end of our leader jump. He's trying to set him up here for this end.
Yeah, he's going to continue to just stay charging and battling as hard as he can. Thought about the outside, now ducks it to the inside, and Jump continues to try to hold on, as it looks like, Gilberto making the move, trying to make it past Grant, as you're seeing here on screen. 94 Machine fighting back, trying to get back into the top 5.
Yeah, he was up there during that long run portion, and he's fighting back here. I tell you what, Jacob Grant, they're not making it easy. Also got the 5 there, who is 1 lap down. First car a lap down, I must point out, and he's going to go to the inside down the back straightaway.
Yeah, he's trying to unlap himself the hard way, as Joshua Ortiz going to be trying to get by what would be 7th place. But it's currently first car 1 lap down in 12th position, and hoping for either a caution or an issue up front. Speaking of up front, Trenton Jump and Braxton DeWeese, they ran all the way down to the apron on the entry of turn 1, which now is given an opportunity here for Bronson Stafford on the outside.
Yeah, big run from the 3rd place car as the front 2 battle, but can't cover it off there as the 15 did there down to the 3. But you see Eric Stamping behind that battling with the 29 Logan braking. So new faces up front here with the 46 and the 15.
Our top 5 trying to stay as close as they can. Currently our top 5 all within a second of one another. And then you've got back in 6th place, Jacob Grant, just waiting and looming and watching. He's got the pace. He's one of the fastest cars on track is Jacob Grant, as he's now trying to make this top 5 into a top 6 car.
Yeah, we've seen him be really quick at the last run at the start of that run, and that's what he's showing again here. But we've seen as the run went on, he definitely started to lose that rear end. So we'll have to see if he can manage that looseness, as he was not able to last run, and he started to drop back. But with 25 to go, I tell you what, it's any person's game up here in the top 5.
Heartbreak almost came for the 61. A little bit of internet issues for himself. Almost blinked him out of this race, running in 3rd place, following Braxton DeWeese and Jump. And I think right now, Jump and DeWeese, they are looking like the favorites to win this thing. And really, it's up to them. If they wreck each other, that's coughing this win up to someone else to win it.
Oh, no, exactly right, man. I mean, they're going to be battling. It looks like the 2 favorites definitely are that 15 and the 46. But if they get into it and just slow each other down enough, you never know. The 61 Bronson Stafford could be sent in position. And look at Eric Stamping 4th. He can break that winless streak record he has going on. So I tell you what, he definitely wants to break back into victory lane for that 53.
Our top 4 all ran very similar lap times. They're staying even, and I heard drivers over the radio. They're talking about how these first 20 laps of these runs, they're pretty much staying full throttle, trying to maximize their speed. And that's why we're seeing everyone so even, is once we get 20 laps into a run, that's when drivers really have to think about, how do I utilize my tires, and did I burn them off too much?
Yeah, that's usually when we see that separation start to happen. Right now it's just so close. I mean, even all the way back to 9th position, it's only 3 seconds. And we've been green for a good bit of laps here now. So, it's not a lot of separation early in the run, but as that run continues on, like you said, about 20 laps in, these guys are going to have to start to lift, and that's where you're going to see the cars that really have the superior handling.
Update on more drivers that have DNF'd officially from today's race. Keenan Massey and Tom Barn, they have parked it for the evening. Matt Dyer has gone back out on course and has moved up from 25th up to 21st position, and does not look like there's not enough laps left in this race, so 21st is where the 88 will be placing himself.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, he made up that 1 spot too, because he was behind Robert Kinney. Before all this played out, and he was able to move himself up. Won't be able to move up anymore, like you said there in 21st, but you can never give up. And that's what Matt Dyer is definitely thinking, is just all about any point he possibly can. It could be 1 point that saves him making the playoffs. You never know.
Yeah, he needs to be in the top 20 in points once we get to the end of the regular season, with the win that he got at Daytona, for that win to count to lock him into the playoffs. As we've been watching this battle so far for 6th place, also behind them, there's been a battle going on, and it's now finished. But for Tyler Stooksbury, he is now past Altus to be the first car 1 lap down, and now waiting, if a caution comes out, he would get that lucky dog position if he wasn't involved in that wreck.
Now, I also didn't think of this stipulation too, but we don't have Austin Gutorix here tonight either in that 13. So he will miss his 2nd race in a row. He does have a win there at Spa, and we do go to the Daytona road course next week, which we know how good he is at road courses. but having missed the last 2 races, he may be in jeopardy of possibly falling out of the top 20 points.
Yeah, he's one of those drivers that kind of comes in part-time. He'll dominate and be our road course ringer. So expecting to see Austin come back next week. This week, I know he didn't show up. Had some personal issues that made it to where he couldn't show up for today's race, but certainly wanting to get back into these stock cars and get back racing here in the Adrenaline Cup Series.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's got Daytona Road Course circled on the schedule there as they hit that next week. And man, I can't wait to see that Love Road Course action. But this action right here is going to be fantastic down to the interiors. I tell you what, Stafford, he's sizing him up. It's first time he's been in the top 3 all night, and guess what? He's got a good shot at this thing. So he gets a little loose there too.
Yeah, the drivers are starting to get into that spot where they got to be careful for their tires. Bronson Stafford going to the inside, going to be a little bit squeezed there by Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese giving a little bit more space. As the 15 and the 61, they still side by side for second place. And you got to say for Jump, he's loving the fact that they're battling so hard. That means they're using their tires way more than the 46 is.
Yeah, side by side battling there. Now he's going to make that pass there. Move him a second. I tell you what, DeWeese just not had this run. And here's Stamp coming into the picture in the 53. And I tell you what, could Stamp break into the top 3 here too as he closes in?
I mean, just looking at the different times that the tires have gone to when they go on these runs, for the first about 15 laps, DeWeese looks strong. And then he goes through a period where his car starts to fade off slightly for about 10 laps. He just entered that placement, and once we get to 10 laps out of this run, it's going to be about 6 laps to go when DeWeese can finally try to make a charge back. And it might be too late for the 15 to make that charge. He has to try to figure out how to make these tires work here, as he is now falling about 1.6 seconds back from our leader. And this is a massive loss for the 15 of DeWeese that looked like a favorite to win this race.
Yeah, looked like definitely a favorite at some points there for sure. And like you said, it seems like it takes him a little bit of time to get going after a little bit of a lull there in the middle part of the run. And at the moment, we got to Stamp all over the back of him. But I tell you what, don't look too far in that second place position. Stafford was quicker than our leader of Certain Jump last time by.
Oh boy, I was looking further back in the field. The 52 of Jacob Grant almost completely binned it, and he is still loose, still struggling to hold on. His tires are extremely heating up, and he is struggling to hold on through these corners. The exit of 2 last lap is when I thought we might have had a caution with how loose he's been getting. You got to be careful because he's still under the wall.
Oh man, that is really interesting. It's almost similar to what we've seen with the 38 of Shane Theory in there, Sam. I tell you what, see if he brings it to pit road, or is he to continue on and try to fight this thing out because he is on the lead lap. So oh man, it's just wrecking.
Oh, he is still loose. He is still losing it, and he's going to try to stay on course. But you're just seeing it. He's soft blading the steering wheel so much through these corners, trying to hold on coming out of the exit. But he's been so aggressive on this set of tires that he just continues to get looser and looser. And he's coming close to dealing with Shane Terrian, who's going to be on the outside, still drifting out of these corners. Oh, no, Jacob Grant might be the cause of our next caution.
Oh, man, he's just trying to hold on here as he's in that nice spot. It looks like back to the 24, a couple car lengths back. Oh, man, I don't know how much longer he'll be able to do this for the final 12 laps, guys.
You have to pass him on the straightaway. If you are side by side right now with Jacob Grant, you are terrified that you are going to be caught up in a wreck as he's still drifting it. Got to be careful. Altice has nowhere to go. Oh, boy. Grant, you got to get off the course. This is almost worse than what Terrian was doing earlier.
Man, I tell you what, the 5, oh gosh, he's just so loose, guys. That's like does he have a right rear tire on that car?
It's hard to tell at this point. We know the whole entire right side got pancaked into the wall. Brockton Packard, though, came over the radio and just saying he's got a bunch of anxiety, and I would too if you've got a car just drifting around you like that and still continues to drift. I mean, I get that, I threw out a dirt reference earlier in the broadcast, but that doesn't mean you got to drift it around these corners.
Oh, man, I tell you what, he turns in and immediately it just breaks loose. I don't see him be able to make it. I just don't. With 10 laps.
the admins have to be calling something, because every single time that you are seeing the 52 get sideways, you're seeing that smoke pop up. And with iRacing's new update, the smoke is so much harder to see through. And you might be thinking a wreck's happening in front of you, which is making these drivers feel like they need to back off. Now you got yourself, Eric. Oh my goodness. Still into the wall. And there he goes.
That's gonna be, that was second time.
Yep. Yeah.
Man, that was a driftathon for him for a minute, but
It
doesn't
certainly was a
really-
show.
Yeah, he definitely didn't get too crazy amount of damage, and I tell you what, that might play out all right for him here. But now, what do we have tire wise? Because we still got to get 9 laps to go now, and it'll be about a 5 lap to go race when we get going back green.
Yeah, looking at everyone here, I believe everyone still has a set to work with. So there's no one really in the hole of not having a set. But, drivers are discussing, what does there need to be a penalty for Grant? I mean, admins are going to relook at this race after that incident because of how much he was drifting around. Bronson's got to be careful, though, because it looked like he might have ran into Jump there. And these drivers, this could be your money stop. Drivers have been out there. This is most drivers' final sets of tires to be working with.
Yeah, should be their final set here as they hit their pit boxes. I tell you what, Trenton Jump here, no mistakes. Got to get off here first, I think. I feel for Trenton Jump because of the caution coming out there, man. He was sitting pretty smooth there, riding along. But now it's going to re-wreck him all. DeWeese definitely helped him in the 15 as he's going to get another shot at this thing.
And Grant going to be staying out. Looks like he's just, why not just send it out there? Jumps is going to be able to get out quickest. Then Stafford, Stamp, Gomera, Brakey, Gray, Johnson, and Packard, and Stooksbury, your top 10. Braxton DeWeese, though, still in pit road. And there is issues for the 15 machine.
Yeah. Man, he's still sitting there just pulling off now. So he's going to go to the tail end of the lead lap cars.
Oh, I think Braxton might have a little bit of damage on that right side. Might have hit the wall on the front end. Huh. And so that might have been a damage repair. Understanding, hey, I'm back in 11th. I've got a fast car. I feel like I can get back up front. But this damage is too much for me to have a chance to win this race.
Well, and if you're Trenton Jump now, I'm nervous for him. These are like every time we get these situations on the broadcast, my legs start shaking. I just start worrying for guys because this is a driver. These are the nerve-wracking times. You dominated this race so far. Now you got to hold off a hungry pack of wolves. And I tell you what, there's nothing harder than to hold off people in this package in a quick little 5-lap short run.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, even on our first restart, right? Braxton DeWeese had a fabulous, getting the pole, but that restart did not work out for the 15. He actually went back to third, had to work his way up to second, and never was able to get by Tom Bourne. And this early of a run, you've got to be aggressive on this restart. You got to put yourself in a place where you can block other drivers, and the only way you can do that is if you're leading this race.
It's very true. He has the chance to control his destiny out front, and we'll have to see how he can play out here. As we got definitely electing to take a wave here. Looks like that's Shane Therian, Joshua Altice, and Evan Coleman. And it also looks like Alex Walter. He's going to try to get back to 5 laps down here, or actually, yeah, he'll be 5 laps down. And then Matt Dyer also taking a wave too. So. Yeah, some drivers taking a wave here. Oh, also Joshua Chadwick Williams. I can't forget about him. So some drivers getting some laps back here late in the going. But, man, now it just sits in Trenton Jump's hands with that 61 of Bronson Stafford there in the second position. Eric Stamp trying to break the winless streak, too. Can he do it? And then look, Gilberto. What names we got up here?
Oh, man. We also, Atlee Gray at one point had to drop all the way back down to 11th place. Was a lap down, got the lucky dog on the previous caution. So, drivers that have had to do a lot of redemption and driving through the pack, they've still got a shot here. As caution, space car lights are off. We're going to be going this time by This is only round number 7 here at Kansas for the Adrenaline iRacing Cup Series, and it has been a great one so far, and it is exciting.
Looks like we got a delayed yellow here as lights will come back on the pace car. So they're teasing us right now as they're trying to get the order right with everybody back in position. So they delayed the yellow here, so we'll have looks like another lap here under pace.
Yeah, some of the cars that tried to go for a wave around were not able to catch up in time, so that's why they're going for this. And some drivers deciding to go back into pit road, just get a little bit of repairs done. Altus is going to be going in, as well as Austin Jordan. So both those drivers feeling like, hey, let's just get repairs done. We're going to be in the back half of the field, so let's just get these repairs done. If we need maybe another set of tires, if you still got one, get a lap fresher than everyone else.
He'll take it. He'll take it for sure. As remember we saw Braxton DeWeese there stay longer in the pits. He's going to restart in the 12th position, and he's going to be behind a few cars that took away too. So and lap cars in between them. So not going to be in the best position for that 15 or points leader. But never know, something could happen up front, and you never know where you could end up. So we'll have to see how it all shakes out, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, with everyone now coming into pit road, Shane Terrian and Evan Coleman, they are both going to be on the lead lap after taking that wave around, but they are on extremely old tires, and they're on the stint of tires where we were seeing Shane Terrian drifting it like we saw Jacob Grant. So I'm worried for those drivers on how they're going to react, because they're going to be in the middle of the field. But this is it. 4 laps to go. And, green, white checkers, they certainly are there if needed. But the cars up front, they want this thing to finish out. Pace car pulls off, and Trenton Jump gets the green, and we are away. 4 laps to go here at Kansas.
Wasted no time there to get the good jump, but here comes Eric Stamp.
Stamp going to be pushing the 61 up just a little bit into that middle groove. Eric Stamp, we haven't really seen him be this aggressive, nor have we seen Logan Brakey. It's really been just jump, and immediately Stamp's going to be blocking. Going high is going to be Bronson Stafford. He's got to figure out how to get by the 53. Doesn't have room to come back down as Logan Brakey is going to put his nose right there at the quarter panel.
Oh, and these guys are wiggling on cold tires. They're trying to get the most out of it right now. Run qualifying laps for these final 3. Let's see who has the best shot. It looks like Stamp going to have a chance at it here with the 61 Stafford working that top groove on the top of Logan Brakey.
Jump's got to be loving this. Bronson Stafford is, there goes Brakey loose, saving it on the apron as he's going to be dropping back, losing time. But the battling up for a front 3. Eric Stamp going to be trying to hold off as Bronson Stafford. He's trying to pinch, trying to utilize the side drafting here at Kansas. Not able to just yet as we're coming to 2 laps to go.
Eric Stamp got the bottom here. The 61 Stafford having that top. I think the advantage will be on the bottom, but let's see what Stafford can do. He's working the top or that middle groove really well, holding him down.
Got to be careful coming here out of 2. Atlee Gray now going to be having a charge in the 60s, in the 96, and now he'll be making a move. Going to be staying on the inside, hoping that Eric Stamp will get by Bronson Stafford. Has not done so just yet. Coming out of 4 to the white flag, it's going to be Trenton Jump, Bronson Stafford, Eric Stamp, and Atlee Gray. And the next flag is going to be giving us the victor here. A little bit of contact for second place. Bronson Stafford going to be trying to stay as close as possible, but Trenton Jump, he's got a lot of pressure behind him, but those two battling for second place of Stafford and Stamp, they are keeping it close. Lock and low is going to be Jump. He's got a block, but here comes Bronson Stafford on the outside. He gets pushed up just a little bit higher than he wants to be. Jump's got space. He can block either lane now as they're coming out of 4. Trenton Jump, he's been second so many times. Contact being made, and it's going to be Trenton Jump getting the win. Bronson Stafford second, possibly. No, Gray gets it. Stafford third, and Stamp gets fourth.
What a finish. Congrats to Trenton Jump. No longer the bridesmaid. He's a beautiful bride, guys.
Oh, one of the best comments of the night. And yeah. Trenton Jump, that pressure is finally off of his shoulders. He had come up second. He's been second most of the race. And it was help from Eric Stamp just a little bit, making contact with the 61, but you knew they were going to bump and rub to try to figure out where they're going to be placed. And luckily, they were both still in the top 5.
Oh, yeah, definitely so, man. I tell you what, there, great job from the 46 at Trenton Jump. Long time coming, getting that first one here at the Kansas Speedway.
Jump gets to burn it down here at Kansas, and this win so important for Jump. He was already 6th in points. This locks him into playoffs, and the consistency that we've been seeing from the 46, I don't see him getting knocked out of the top 20 points wise for the rest of the regular season. His jump is going to be a threat once playoffs come around.
Oh, they better be worried about this 46 for sure, Sam.
Jump gets to burn it down, and we'll be getting our top 3 in for interviews. But Zach, I mean, what were some of your thoughts during this race?
Oh man, it definitely was a fantastic battle. I mean, it's just great to see first of all Trent Jump break through. Like that is, just a great moment because it finished in second that many times. It's got to be demoralizing. And he knew he had the speed, and tonight proves it. But other than that, Kansas just putting on a great show along with the Adrenaline iRacing Cup Series. These guys, each and every week, I see 3-wide racing that just equates to great, racing. It's not, 3-wide over your head racing. It's 3-wide. We can do this racing, So shout out to all the drivers on the track. It's been just another fantastic night of racing here on Sunday nights at Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
Yeah, they were 3, 4 wide at times. Almost thought about going 5 wide at one point. These restarts were crazy. We knew it was going to be a thrilling one. And Trenton Jump in this 46 machine finally able to get the win. And we will be right back with interviews of our top 3.
All right, we're back here, everybody, here at the Adrenaline iRacing Cup Series here at the Kansas Speedway, as we have our top 3 finishers here tonight on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Man, what a race it was for 160 laps here. First up, we have our third place finisher, Bronson Stafford. So let's go ahead and pull Bronson up here and see what his thoughts are tonight on getting third. Hey, Bronson, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Bronson, man, well, I tell you what, great run for yourself here tonight in the 61, man. I tell you what, early in the race, me and Sam were up here. We kind of got caught off guard when all of a sudden you popped into the top 10 later in the race because we kind of almost hadn't seen the 61 for most of the race almost. And then all of a sudden, man, you got into that top 10, you just kept going forward. So, how did you end up putting yourself up into that top 3 later in the race?
Yeah, when we finally got going green after the lap 40 restart or whatever, I decided to just back up like 6-7 seconds, try and save some tire. And right before pit stops, I was running as quick, if not a little bit quicker than Jump and DeWeese, but I was 6.5 seconds behind. But I was catching everyone else still like third on back. So we're just kind of rolling with that, run it dry, pit as late as possible, and we only lost I think 2 spots, and we were able to come back, get fourth before yellows and all that stuff. So we got the late yellow, restarted up there, and just kind of I was by my time in third behind Braxton and Jump, and then I was slowly catching him, and we got another yellow, and I figured I was going to be in a tough one to finish off on the top side with it full throttle, and it was tough. Brakey got loose though, and it really gave me the option to try and make a run at it. And yeah, just quick shout out. I want to apologize to Stamp. I turned across his nose coming to the checkered flag. I thought he was going lower to follow Jump's draft more, and I just turned down on the apron to try and defend it, but he didn't go down all the way, so ruined him out of a top 3. We would have been 2-3 instead of 3-4. But yeah, good race overall.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch up here in the booth, man. And one thing, it was like the dynamic of the lines here. And like you said, on that short run there, you had the deal with the outside line, which you didn't feel like was going to be the best. You ended up making the most out of it there, and getting back into position, almost the fight there with a chance. But man, how was the dynamic of like the lines changing around? Because we've seen guys, moving from top to bottom pretty much throughout the whole night.
Honestly, this track's worse than it was before. Instead of being high side on the wall, if you ran off the bottom, you were a 10th or 2/10 lap slower. It was silly. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe it was a slight combination. I think the setup we have for this build right now is a day setup, so I think it was made more for higher track temp. So I think that's why we had so much grip maybe on the bottom. But regardless of that, it never really moved up. You could try and move up, try and get runs off the corner, but he couldn't really pass someone unless they got loose, which that was probably the bigger thing. Off of turn 2 and 4, the cars would start getting loose after about 15, 20 laps, and you just had to take advantage of that and try and not get loose. You'd be able to get a couple spots pretty easily.
Oh, that's great information for us up here in the booth, man. I tell you what, that's a great insight there, man, and it lets us really know what's going on there. Definitely different than before. Used to seeing Kansas right against the wall. Is definitely tonight now. It seems like the bottom, like you said, was definitely the preferred groove, man. But I tell you what, great finish nonetheless for yourself. Before we go to the Daytona Road Course next week, anybody want to send a shout out to for tonight's top 3 finish, Bronson?
Yeah, Luminary guys. We had some bad luck with Tom there at the end. He got caught up in a wreck, but him and Shane tried a different strategy, and ultimately they fell behind. We went green when they decided not to take tires, so that's never going to go well. Robert Kenny had a bad run, and hopefully Austin's back next week, so they'll be nice to see. All the sponsors on the car with Sim Speed Shop, Navy, Evil Controllers, G Fuel. Just everyone that makes that happen, make it possible, and TJ put on a great league. Honestly, this is a great place to race. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of talent and ability throughout the field, so it's great to see. And you guys for putting on a broadcast. They've been really good this season, and it's always fun to watch back.
Well, thank you very much, Bronson. Great run here tonight for yourself tonight, Kansas, man. And we will catch you next week at Daytona.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, that was Bronson Stafford. It looks like, I think after tonight, he should be able to take the points lead too from Braxton DeWeese. So looks like he'll move himself back into that points lead. But now we'll move ourselves onto the 96 of Atlee Gray with a great second place finish here tonight, and see what his thoughts are on getting that 96 up in the second. Hey, Atlee, Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Well, I tell you what a run tonight for yourself in that 96, starting in that second or in the 18th position, man. You're able to drive it all the way up the second, but it was a race of up and downs. You kind of came into the picture there, and from lap 100 on, the 96 was up in the top 5, and then it seemed to make a mistake there on pit road, and look, you got into that cone, got a penalty, and man, you rebounded back to that in the second. So how did you end up pulling that off?
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Once I missed that pin entry, I was like, oh, that's probably it. But I just kept at it, and then somehow made it all the way back up. I got the lucky dog, and then caution came out, and somehow made it back up.
Yeah, that was impressive to see, man. I tell you, how does that, coming in tonight, 6 races in, this is 7th race. You hadn't had a top 5 or a top 10 this season. Had a lot of bad luck personally on the 96 side of the season. So how does that feel to finish, second here tonight? Do you think you can get the ball rolling in these final 6 races, possibly have a shot maybe at getting close to that playoff contention?
I would like to hope so, but you never know what's gonna happen. It's oval track racing. That's just how it is. But we'll see. I'll just keep at it and see what we can do.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, that was great to see tonight from yourself. A great rebound. That's mostly.
Thank you.
Hitting that cone and then coming back from that to drive the second has got to feel really special and going out there in chat. So thank you to everybody tuning in, watching there, man. We appreciate that. But before we let you go, anybody want to say a shout out to for your second place finisher tonight, Atlee?
Shout out to my wife. Always being there for me, letting me do this. and that's about it. Really, just her.
Stuff, buddy, man. Well, congrats on second here tonight, and we'll catch you next week at Daytona.
All right, thank you.
All right, you heard it there from himself, Atlee Gray. Very happy with that second place finish here tonight, first top 5 and first top 10 of the season too. So great way to get some momentum rolling in that 96. But now we'll move on to the man that's got his first career win here at the Adrenaline iRacing Cup Series. Guy who's got so many second place finishes. They call him the bridesmaid. This guy's no longer the bridesmaid. He's the beautiful bride. As we got the comment earlier, let's see what Trenton Jump has to say. Hey, Trenton and Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, man.
I gotcha.
I tell you what, man. Really, the big question is, how does it feel to win finally, buddy?
How about that? No more bridesmaid.
That's exactly right. We got a comment. I got to tell you in the chat that someone said, if you're no longer the bridesmaid, you're the beautiful bride. So welcome. You're the beautiful bride here tonight, and you're able to bring home the victory, man. How does that feel?
Well, it's been a long time coming. I didn't cry, but I almost did. But yeah, it's been a long time coming.
It definitely has, Trent. I tell you what, man, like each and every week, the 46 just shows speed, consistency. And man, I tell you what, tonight, there was no stopping you, man. I got to ask you there, down at the end, we got a late race caution. How much did that worry you? Because, at the beginning of these runs, it's so hard to hold off people with this package, and you just pulled it off perfectly.
I'm not going to lie, when the caution came out with whatever, it was 50 laps ago, it was 10 lap caution, I got pretty mad. I was like, come on. I was like, catch me a break. I'm like, but it's all right. The last caution when it came out, I didn't get too mad because I literally had all my teammates lined up behind me. So it was big help from them.
It definitely was, man. But special win here tonight at Kansas. It was great to see. Me and Sam were having a good time calling it up here, man. And we had a poll even to see if you were going to get that win tonight, and I think the poll actually ended up with most people voting yes.
There we go.
They were on the right side of the call here tonight. Most people called right, man, and it was great to see. But you ran good at Spa. Now going forward into next week, you ran good at Spa. Do you think you can run even better possibly at Daytona next week, since it's more of a track, I guess you could say, maybe you're used to?
Yeah, I think a little bit of practice will help go a long ways. I didn't expect to be that good at Spa, but I know what the situation is going to have to be if I'm in that same situation at Daytona. I can't just sit there and let him go. If I want to try to win, I need to try to make it known that I need to try to win that race. I need to try to make that pass, because if I pass him and then there's other cars, there's a chance he could get caught up and some type of mistake can happen, right? Because it was kind of the same deal last season. He got away, and then the only thing that messed him up was he had a pit road speeding penalty. But I'm sure he's over that hump by now. So we'll take it lap by lap next week, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, man, I tell you what, never know, you can end up 2 times in a row there for your first victory next week at Daytona. It could be something special. But I tell you what, here tonight is very special at Kansas. Before we let you go, Trenton, and celebrate this thing for your first victory, man, anybody wants to shout to?
Yeah, I want to thank Justin at That Color Teal Designs for painting this beautiful car that needs a few updates. But I forgot to tell him for this season. Rowdy Energy, Circle B Diecast, Raise Energy for being a partner of the series. Tanner and the admins, my teammates, of course, for the huge help at the end. And of course, you beautiful souls for broadcasting us. You don't have no clue how much this means to us. So,
well, man, I tell you what, it means a lot for us to be able to call it, buddy. It's been fantastic so far through our first 7 races, and I can't wait to watch these next 5 before the playoffs. It's going to be an intense season. You're also locked into the playoffs, so congrats on that too, buddy.
Yeah, a lot less stress going forward now. So nothing definitely from here on out.
Definitely is, man. Well, I tell you what, congrats on the win here tonight, Trenton. We'll catch you next week at Daytona, and go celebrate this thing.
Sounds good. Thank you, boys.
All right, there you heard it from the man himself, the 46 of Trenton Jump, bringing home that first victory here tonight, the Adrenaline iRacing Cup Series. Congrats to him. As we didn't pull up our race results here tonight from the Kansas Speedway and go through here, and I believe when we pull these results up here, everybody, I'll just let you know, it'll say Bronson Stafford is the second place car, but the scoring, I believe, on our software is just a little bit off, and it was actually Atlee Gray. So I'll make sure to correct that here once we get into our official race results here tonight at the Kansas Speedway after a fantastic race. There's, you see it now. Actually, there it is. It's actually right on the board here. As Trenton Jump is your winner here tonight for the first time, no longer a bridesmaid. Second is going to go to Atlee Gray in at 96 Machines. Third is going to go to Bronson Stafford. Fourth is Eric Stamp. Fifth is Gilberto Javier Gomera. Sixth is going to go to Logan Brakey. Seventh is Tanner Johnson. Eighth is Brockton Packard. 9th will go to Jacob Grant. 10th, Tyler Stooksbury. 11th, Braxton DeWeese. 12th, Shane Therian. 13th, Evan Coleman. 14th is going to go to Joshua Altice. 15th, Spencer Hardison. 16th, Austin Jordan. 17th, Joshua Chadwick Williams. 18th, Alex Walter. 19th, Keenan Massey. 20th, Tom Bourne. 21st, Matt Dyer. 22nd, Robert Kinney. 23rd, Caleb Smith. 24th, Robert Sherwood. 25th, Johnny Jones. And around your field, the 26th position tonight is Ryan Huff in the 73 machine. As that's your official results here tonight from the Kansas Speedway. As we want to thank you all for tuning in here tonight on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth. We had Sam Dyer up here in the booth tonight. He had to go and get ready for another broadcast he had here tonight. And we appreciate Sam. What a gentleman he was here to come here tonight to fill in for the man himself, Lee Tidwell. And we shout to Lee Tidwell out there too. We love you, buddy. And hope everything gets going good for you there. But man, I tell you what a night here. 7 rounds in. Trenton Jump getting his first victory, locking himself in the playoffs. Great stuff to see here. But we'll be back next week here at the Daytona Road Course with the Adrenaline iRacing Cup Series. So make sure to tune in again at the same place at the same time here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. But we'll send it up to Robert Moyer Jr. here tonight, our producer, to close out tonight's broadcast.
All right. Yes. Thank you to Sam for filling in. Thank you, Zach, for great calling. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, out there on Facebook and YouTube. We do much appreciate it up here at Freaky Fast. Adrenaline appreciates everybody tuning in out there. Make sure that you don't mind if this is the first time swinging by Freaky Fast and you like this content. Make sure you hit that follow and subscribe button on both platforms of Facebook and YouTube. And you also can follow us on Twitter, as we got some stuff that we post over there every once in a while, and give us a follow over there. But all right, well, we're going to pack up our stuff here from Kansas and get ready to say see you later. We will not be live again until Tuesday night with Adrenaline. Who are we going to be with? Evolution Racing League, as they got the ARCAs at 7:20, and then they got the Cup cars at 9:20 at Darlington. But all right, Zach, well, man, what a great race, man. It's great to see him get his first win, lock himself in, long time coming. It's been fast week in and week out, so congratulations again, Jump, oh my goodness, Jump, for getting the win. But all right, well, until then, guys, we're going to sign off. We like to say up here at Freaky Fast, like always, God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.